It's time for the Neighborhood Connection, sponsored by The Wall.
Hey Eric, it's Kim, and my son and his fiance will be buying a house soon, and I just wanted to get some advice on some of the latest and greatest home improvement must-have tools. Please let me know. Thank you.
Thanks, Kim. That's a great question because tools, it's a huge deal. You could have a handful, or like me, you could have almost thousands of them. But no matter what, you got to start someplace. And for that new homeowner, this is what we need to pay attention to. First off, safety gear, because no matter what you're doing, you want to keep from getting hurt. A good set of safety glasses is key, because if they're comfortable, you're going to want to wear them more. That means you're going to save your face from getting hurt. And gloves. That's another one. Now you got to be careful with gloves. Sometimes around power tools, they can actually hurt you by pulling you into that tool. But around the house for doing stuff, this can keep you from getting hurt. They even make ones out there that have cut protection, so if you're dealing with glass, it won't cut you. That can save you there as well. Now let's get into tools a little bit. Hammer, great. Smooth head on this, so you can hammer nails without damaging what you're nailing into. If you get a framing hammer, that framing hammer here has got a waffle head on the end of it. Now that's going to be one of those things that if you're doing framing, it works great for keeping the head on the nail, but around the house it's going to really mess up that finish stuff you're trying to do. So make sure that you don't use the wrong hammer for the wrong job. Now when we get into screwdrivers, this is a key right here. You can get a whole set of them or you can get a multi-tool set, but either way, a good selection of those make a big difference. You can get somebody that's just starting out, one that's got the interchangeable head so they have one screwdriver. It'll fit easier in a toolbox. Now probably one of the most important there as well is your tape measure. Get a good one. Get something that's comfortable, something that's going to be the right size for the job. Those little inexpensive ones, throw them away. They're going to cause more problems than they're worth, but a great tape measure is key. Now if you're doing some projects where you're building stuff, you need to keep it square. Framing square is a great one for that. Now Framing Square has a lot of other information on it as well for doing bigger DIY projects. If I'm laying out stairs or rafters or something like this, it's key for that. But if you just want to make sure you got a right angle, that's the key to doing that. Now when we get into other projects around the house, a good set of pliers is great for taking on those plumbing projects and other stuff. This is how you can take things apart and put them back together. A couple sizes of these work out really well. You could put these basically small ones in a big one. It'll tackle any project. Now, having something to cut wire or cable is key. So a good set of cable cutters, get something decent, it'll last you forever. Now we got to get into wrenches a little bit. And you can get wrenches and sockets just about anywhere, but look for that key set that you can get at any home center. About once a year, maybe twice, they've got one of their special buys where you can get a whole kit for about $100. It's a great deal to get something really quality, and almost anybody can afford that. Now, if you're taking on projects, that level is big. I don't care if you're hanging a picture or putting in a door. This is the tool that you got to have to get it right. Now, we all know that a drill and a driver is key. Nowadays, I use my drill a lot less because this impact driver will do that. It'll also install screws, bolts, things like that, and they make special drill bits for that. So, you can get a set like this that's made for that has the hex end on the end. That way you can drill through and do anything you want to do with that. And these are meant for the speed of that drill driver. Now, if we get into bits for putting all the different kinds of screws and bolts in, they make great kits like this that you can go through, and that's going to really make it easy. One kit has its own box, makes it easy, and you're not losing pieces that way, as long as you put them back in. Now, one of my favorite tools for cutting things is that circular saw. This works really well for going through and cutting wood. This is going to be a little bit more of an advanced thing, but having a circular saw is going to work great. Now, make sure that you buy the same tool brands because you don't have 3 different brands inside your house because then you have 3 different chargers. Keep this as a family and you can go corded. On a job site now, corded tools are king. The cords, it's the old way of doing it. Now my secret favorite tool out of my whole shop for doing projects is the multi-tool. This thing here will actually cut just about anything if you get the right bit. I can flush cut it. I can go through and really cut square holes. I rarely use my jigsaw anymore for doing cuts for electrical and things like that. This can be used about 1,000 different ways, including sanding. That's my favorite tool for taking on DIY projects. Well, Kim, that's a little bit of the stuff you can go with here for that next tool project. And this will get you a great selection to start with, and maybe you'll have a next new tool now.